Hi, I'm Cheryl Kagan, very proud to be the senator for Rockville and Gaithersburg. Welcome to this week's episode of Kibbitzing with Kagan. Today's very special guest is Marji Graf, the CEO of the Rockville Chamber of Commerce. Marji, thank you so much for taking time out to chat, especially during the holiday season.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all you do for Rockville.
You're sweet. Thank you. So I have so much I want to ask you about. Let's start with where you grew up. You were kind of a New England girl, growing up in Connecticut and going to school in Massachusetts and then Vermont. And talk about your childhood and your growing up.
Oh my. Well, I grew up in West Hartford, Connecticut, and when I got out of high school, I actually went to court reporting school. So I was the court reporter for Middletown Superior Court for years.
Huh?
And then I ended up, I was making a lot of money at the time, but I didn't have a life. Usually people have a life and I'm typing transcripts all night long to deliver in the morning. So one day I just opened the paper. I said, there's got to be a better way. And there was a new TV station opening up in Bristol, and that was the startup of ESPN. So I was the first 6 person hired there. So that was really exciting. And that moved me into the whole media thing. And then after I was doing the media at the different stations, I felt bad for the customers because I've always been customer focused. And it was like I could only sell advertising to what station I was working for at the time. So I went on my own business and I started doing media buying for all the clients. So that way I could buy what's best for them, not just who I represented. So I've been an entrepreneur pretty much all my life. My parents were, my father owned a small business and my mother was a bookkeeper for that business. So I grew up in that kind of environment. And it's funny because now I have a son and he's seen me grow, he's grown up in an entrepreneurial environment as well. So it's funny how these things repeat.
Right.
So yeah, go ahead.
So you were in Vermont running the Chamber of Commerce there. Talk about what that was like.
Okay, well, I left Connecticut to get married and move to Vermont and do the baby boom thing. I had the apple tree outside,
Nice.
but still, I still had my customers I was doing media buying for, so I could do it from anywhere. So that was great.
Yes.
And then when I adopted my son, he had some health issues. So that's when I started looking at wellness products, how I can help him. And that took me in another industry, into the wellness industry. And then I ended up putting products in hotels worldwide. So all you had to do is go on to like wellnesshotelrooms.com and just go into, you could go to a hotel, you could do the spa and then stay in a wellness room. So they sold it as a detox package. So I did that up until 2008. And I did that. And then, the economic downturn happened. And I was, I had a warehouse in New York with hydrotherapy tubs that I imported from Italy. And I had infrared saunas I imported from Canada. And at that time, there was no government help.
Right.
You were like, and I was always a member of a chamber of commerce. So I went to the chamber of commerce. I said, bankruptcy is not an issue for me. I'm going to have to get a job. And, you tell an entrepreneur they have to get a job. It's just like, shoot me now. So I ended up, he told me about the Chamber of Commerce in Vermont. He goes, you'd be great at it. I said, I have no chamber experience. He goes, but you have business experience. So
Right.
Got it. I did that for 10 years before I came here.
So talk about what made you decide to even think about applying, let alone accepting the job in Rockville.
Okay. That had a lot to do with my son as well. After raising him, I wanted him to have more opportunities and just more opportunities than rural Vermont at the time. So I was looking, and he also has Asperger's. So I was looking for resources for him. So I was comparing jobs around the country for me that also had resources for him. And Rockville, Maryland came up number 3, actually.
Wow.
So the first one I looked at was in Boston, and that was still in my neck of the woods. So I looked at that, but I didn't like the chamber. And then another one was in right outside of Boston, and I I didn't like that either. So Rockville, I looked at Rockville and they flew me down here and I'm like, oh my God, I love it. It's the best of both worlds. You had
Nice.
your rural,
Yep.
you had your town center, you had your growth. I mean, it was like, it really literally was the best of both worlds. So Connecticut, Vermont, and Rockville had it.
That's
So
great.
it had the good position and it had resources for my son. So
Well, we are so lucky to have you. So you've been here for a little over 3 years now, about 3.5 years actually, and a chunk of that has been through COVID. So why don't you start by just talking about the challenges that the coronavirus has posed for you and your members?
oh my God, Cheryl, it's
That's a
still not
45-minute conversation.
it is still not over. You
Of
know,
course.
for every restaurant and retail that's really hurting and trying to figure out how to come out of COVID, there are new ones opening. It's been a real challenge. It was almost easier going into COVID because everybody was the same. Everybody had to stop worldwide. It was what it was and we all accepted it. But coming out, there's all different mask mandates and, here you can, here you can't, everything is, where's the money coming from? Because of what I went through in 2008, I just really went crazy when this happened because it hit me personally. I've been there. I know how they feel. At least they have resources that I didn't have. And I took it upon myself to make sure they knew every single thing that was available, every opportunity. I was up day and night just pulling the resources together and getting it out there.
Go ahead.
No, I mean it was painful and I was right in there with them. So and I'm right in there now trying to help them come out of it.
So you created some new programs to try to keep people safe, but still offer networking opportunities. Why don't you talk about the difference that's made for some of the Chamber's members?
Well, yeah, we still did all of our events. We started off, hybrid, and then we moved into in person. But for like our Rockstar Awards, which thank you for coming,
Of course.
we made sure we asked for the vaccination card or a negative COVID test, so we kept everybody safe that was there. And then we also had our annual holiday party and, same thing. I knew everybody was safe that was there. And people are itching to get out. But then you have other people who are not ready yet. So we still have to move forward hybrid. That's going to happen for a while. Even now with the variant, I'm starting to try to, lock in things for 2022. And I'm having a very difficult time because we don't know where we're going, but I'm doing, I'm trying to do it in person with a hybrid, plan B.
So I went to one of your happy hours networking events, and it was on the roof in Rockville Town Center, on the roof of Viz Arts, and that was great. And so people could feel safe and comfortable, but still connect with colleagues. I thought that was a wonderful.
Remember, we had the nurse at the bottom of the elevator taking everyone's temperature before they got in. So, I have always tried to be, doing everything safe.
So talk about why someone should join the Rockville Chamber. What are the benefits? What are the services they would get if they're not a member yet?
Well, they get me.
Of course. Well, that's enough right there.
It's about personal introductions, to find out what their need is. It's not about the chamber. It's never been about the chamber for me. It's about how can I serve you? What do you need? And then I can hook you up to that resource. Right now, I've been going through a lot of permitting. It seems like, help with permitting either in Rockville or the county, or I have a school that's trying to open, and now they're having water issues. So I'm working with the county through that. But whatever they need, I can connect them to that right place. The other thing, and that's with my business hat on. Everything I do it from the business point of view, because there wouldn't be a chamber unless you're providing value and a service to your members. So I think that's where I'm a little different. And also the masterminds that I have, I thought it was important for me when I was a member of a chamber to be able to go into have a little mastermind group that I used to use as like my board of directors.
Mhm.
You could run ideas off of, and whatever was said there stayed there. And
Yeah.
so we have a lot of different mastermind groups in different industries that some people will only come to the mastermind. You'll never see them at anything else. So we try to do our education programs in the morning. We do lunch and learns in the day, mix and mingles at night. And they're all different people that come to all the different things. So
That's great. I love all the alliterations. Mastermind, mix and mingle, lunch and learn. That's fun. As a word nerd, I love stuff like that.
that's right. You
On your website, people should go and check out rockvillechamber.org. There's a member directory. Talk about why people should check that out, whether or not they're a member of the chamber.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people, this is known in the chamber world, that people do business with people that are members of chamber because they know, like, they're vetted, that they pay their taxes, they have, versus like out of the car or not licensed or something. So it's really important to do business with a member business that is reputable. And we have testimonials for them. Other members have worked with other members, so it's really important.
So sort of a good housekeeping seal of approval by being a chamber member.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Mm-hmm.
Good. So some chambers engage with nonprofit organizations as well. Talk about the Rockville Chamber and the nonprofit sector.
Oh my God. Well, we have Rockville Rewards. It's probably in its 13th year. And that was a program, and we've had to pivot in COVID with that because we used to go around and do plaques and all kinds of things, and we had to take that whole program virtual.
Yeah.
So Rockville Rewards is nonprofits sell these reward cards. The nonprofits keep 100% of the proceeds. A lot of them make most of their money with our Rockville Reward program. We don't keep anything. It's an opportunity for businesses to offer a discount, and we put it all up on the website. That will bring new business to them, and then it's win-win for the consumer because you're shopping at a discount. And I'm glad you mentioned that because even as for holiday stocking stuffers, Rockville Reward cards would be a great stocking stuffer.
Good point. Good point. And I always have used it to support Community Ministries of Rockville, formerly now called Community Reach, and have used it at Dawson's Market and at restaurants. And so, yeah, great. What don't elected officials understand about the business sector?
That's a great question. I remember when there were businesses that were trying to open during COVID, and they were making decisions about what businesses could open and what businesses can't open. And what bothered me is they've never been in that business, so they didn't even, they were making assumptions without understanding the business. So a lot of times when decisions are made, I think it's important to bring a business in, to talk about it before decisions are made, or go to the business and see how it runs and operates. I'll just give you a quick example: the escape room in North Bethesda. Other people were opening and they weren't, and they're like, "We are the cleanest than anybody, because we have to be because of our business model." So, nobody from the county had gone there. They didn't understand what an escape room was or how that business operated. So that was, and being a private business person before, you can't make decisions unless you have the stakeholders in the room to let you know from their point of view.
So talk about advocacy. Stay the elected officials thing. I have seen you in Annapolis. You pass a bill for a childhood friend of mine who's an active member of yours, and certainly have a voice that's very helpful to us. Why don't you talk about the importance of advocacy for your members as well as for you?
That was when I first got here, Cheryl, and I didn't know the protocols. So I heard, I can share it, it's Leslie from Intelligent Office, and she was like, I walked by her office and she was crying one day. I'm like, why are you crying? She goes, oh my God, I got this tax. I think it was $160,000 tax bill.
Something
And I'm like,
crazy. Yeah.
and I'm like, why? And she's like, there again, they were charging her for something she's not. It was like an old 1950s bill of, old telephone answering services. You answer and you plug in. And,
Right.
shared office space is nothing like
Not
that
that.
anymore.
Right.
It's a whole new industry from when that tax bill was written. So I said, I'm going to Annapolis tomorrow because it was my first time in Annapolis. And I was going to meet with the Maryland Chamber and go into the House and Senate and meet with you and meet with people.
Right.
And I said, why don't you come with me? And
Perfect.
so I had called Jim Gilchrist that morning and I said, I'm going to Annapolis. I was like a little kid. And I told him I was bringing Leslie. And it turns out that was the day that all bills had to be in. So he put a placeholder in for me. I didn't even know about that.
Right.
So when we got, someone to sponsor it from the House, the Senate, and then we got it passed, within 2 months.
Which never happens. I mean, that's so impressive. You should be so proud.
Well, I mean, that was like within my first year here. So I was like, but in Vermont, I could easily do that. That was what I was used to, right? So I guess not know different protocols, but it was very easy to do. Yeah. And I feel that everybody is so open. I haven't had a problem since I've been here, making a phone call, being listened to, and say, I need help for this business. And that's everybody, you've been very, great. Anytime I've called and said, can you stop and visit this business for me? Or, I remember when you went to Cottage Monet and I couldn't get there, but it was.
Love that. I actually went there again on Small Business Saturday. I went to about 7 different businesses in Rockville and in Gaithersburg on that day, including a chocolatier in the Kentlands in Gaithersburg. So had to. So you referenced the state chamber. Talk about how closely you work with the Gaithersburg Chamber, Bethesda, Silver Spring, other chambers around the state and around the nation.
Well, first of all, I'm the treasurer for the Maryland Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives, so I work with all of the chambers all the time. I also, Montgomery County chambers, we're all close. We all work together because we might have our own little town issues, but we work together for the good of the county as well. Mm-hmm. I'm the only chamber in Montgomery County that connected with the Maryland State Chamber because any of my small business members for 10 or fewer employees are automatically a member of the Maryland State Federation program as well. Uh-huh. To me, it's like, why reinvent the wheel? I'm about partnering with everybody and anybody. And the other chambers, felt like they were doing it themselves already. Mm-hmm. Being the new kid on the block, I'm like, I want to partner with everybody I can, more power to us.
The more the merrier. Right, right. So my tea mug today is one. So talk about READY, the Rockville Economic Development, Inc.
Yep, I'm on the board of READY and she's on my board, so we work together all the time. Which is a great synergy. We have great synergy with the city, READY, and I. It's like a 3-legged stool. And City got here right after I got here. So it's new eyes coming in and looking at bringing our experience in. And it's been great working with the city, and they've really been moving things forward, and they have their fast track with permitting, which has been really helpful to businesses. I've even taken their example to the county, like, look how successful they are doing it. So again, they're not reinventing the wheel. Let's look at what's working and implement.
Right.
So,
So it is noteworthy to me that so many chamber leaders are women. The new CEO, the state chamber, and you in Silver Spring and Gaithersburg, Germantown, and so many, and they're just dynamos and stuff. Why do you think women gravitate to lead chambers?
I don't know, because it was all men. At one point, it was all men. And even now in Maryland, I'm trying to think about how many men. It's totally more women than men.
Yeah.
And Allie is in Bethesda. And he's he's like one of us. So we consider.
Allie's great. Well, we'll give him half credit because he has a name that can be used for a woman too. So talk about the Women Business Entrepreneur, the annual award that you all give out in the process of recognizing startup women.
Okay, well, one of
That's
the
a
things,
ready for, yeah,
going back to Ready, the Women Business Owner Center, that's part of their group, and we
yes,
work really closely with them too, because a lot of the people who are starting businesses, I refer over there because they have the
yeah,
programs and they can walk them through, they can help them, update their business plan and do more of a marketing reach for them. Then once they're a little more settled, then I can help them. So we refer businesses back and forth. There was a business that I'm trying to get a business to expand his business. I want to see a trolley in Rockville. I have wanted to
nice.
see a trolley since I've been here. So I found a business, and I'm trying to work with Ready and with the city to try to make this thing happen. I think it would
That's
be
fun.
yeah.
That's very fun. I have a few more questions before we get to Fast Five, but I do have a few more questions. You talk about how relationships are key in a business. What's one piece of advice that you think an entrepreneur just starting his or her business might not think of that you think would make a difference?
Well, it's all about the connections. It is. People do business with people they know, like, trust, and respect, and you have to earn it. It's not going to happen right away. When someone joins a chamber, they're not going to get business instantly because it's your reputation on the line if you're making a referral. You need to, make sure that if you're referring this person, you know that they're going to do a good job like they would do for you. So relationships are very, very important.
Yes. Your background was media. I wonder if you could speak for a moment about social media and the importance of that for your members and for the chamber.
Oh yeah, we have all the social media that everybody else does, and we use social media to help our businesses because I want to go out there and I want to promote them. That's my job. I stopped in a beauty salon the other day to drop off some business directories, and I said, "Oh, let's do a Facebook Live." And I just turned my phone around right then and there, and I said, "Hi, how's it going for you?" And that's the best part of social media. We have these tools that we never had before. And so what if it's not perfect? It doesn't have to be perfect. It's got to be authentic and real and people relate to it. And doing things like that, I love it.
I've enjoyed.
Right.
Who knew that I was going to have a podcast a year and a half ago?
I think I started that, to be honest with you, because I had you on my podcast, remember?
Yes, you did.
I think I started you on this podcast.
Well, thank you, I think. How's that? Is there one business or one member that you'd especially like to spotlight that's doing something interesting we might not have heard about yet?
Oh, that's hard.
I know that's hard.
That's not fair.
Okay, all right.
There's so many that are doing so many good things. I'm most proud of my marketing committee. I have a funny story to tell you. When I first came here, they didn't have a marketing committee. I said, "How can you not have a marketing committee?" I said, "The chamber needs help. We need to market ourselves first." So I put out an RFP, and I said, "In the spirit of this chamber, we all work together. You can, I know each of you can bring in this job yourselves, but you have to work together to do it." So these are all ad agencies that, of course, are like this. I can do it all myself. I don't need to work with anybody else, but they've had to in order to do my jobs. And it has formed such a great relationship amongst them, not only for us, but now they work together outside. So, to me, I have the best marketing committee out there, and which can only turn around and help my members too. Because if they need help in areas, I've got the experts, to help.
Fantastic. Is there anything you'd like to mention before we shift to Fast Five?
Fast Five, huh? One of the things we're doing for 2022 as far as programming is I'm hooking up with the Hispanic Chamber, the French American Chamber. So I'm doing more cultural joint ventures this year. During COVID, we hooked up with all the other chambers and we did joint mix and mingles. Now I'm going to take it another notch up because it's up to me to create environments where our members can meet more different people.
Love it. Love that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good. All right. Well, Marji Graf, CEO of the Rockville Chamber of Commerce, your fast five quick questions to help people get to know a little bit more about you. Quick questions with quick answers. First, if you won the lottery, what would you want to spend it on?
My God, I was just thinking of this the other day of how many I would give money to this organization, money to this organization. Anytime I see St. Jude's comes up, for the children, I want to, so I would totally be giving out money.
Great. Question number 2, who is a role model, someone you especially admire, who helps guide your work?
When I first got here, it's Brian Barkley from Barkley and Kennedy. He's the chair of our public policy committee. He's been very helpful in navigating Rockville and history. And I would say he is my mentor.
I've known Brian since 1986, Mike Barnes's campaign for U.S. Senate, a little before that, actually. But yeah. Question 3, what is a favorite book, something that educated or inspired you in an important way?
Oh my God, I have like 5 stacked up right now, and I think the first thing that came to mind is Who Stole My Cheese?
Yep.
But
we've all read that, right?
Yeah. Ego is the Enemy. That's another one.
I am finishing that right this second. Actually, yeah, it's interesting. Question number 4: if you could travel anywhere in the world and neither COVID nor time nor money were an object, where would you want to go?
Oh, that's kind of hard too, because I have traveled all over the world pretty much when I was doing my hotel business. So I love river cruises.
Nice.
I went from Paris to Normandy and back on an Avalon River cruise. I swear by those. I would never do a cruise ship again. I'd only do the river cruises. They're very doable. And I'm going to introduce a travel with the chamber program once we're out of COVID, and we are going to do different trips.
Ooh, sneak peek right here. How fun is that? Okay.
Yep.
And the last question, Marji Graf. This is the question I ask everybody. What is your hidden secret superpower? What is something you're really good at that most folks can't do?
Oh, God. I don't know. I think I'm a good listener. And I know other people are too, but I think I'm really a good listener, and I like to be kind. My mantra is speak the truth, be in integrity, and be kind. That's what I try to do every day.
I love that.
Put my little wings on and see what I can do to help. I'm a helper. Right. That's who I am.
Well, Marji, thank you for all you do every day. Thank you for being such an important leader for our business community, our nonprofit community, and inspiring all of us to connect, especially during COVID. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in person again before too long.
I'll be up in Annapolis the end of January.
Excellent. Happy holidays.
And happy holidays to you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.